So you've started a rent roll and you're looking to grow your rent roll. And you think that probably the best thing to do right now is to start pounding the pavement and letterboxing your street. I mean, in real estate, we're told that every time you list and lease a property, you should do 5-5-10s, which is, you know, the letterbox the 5 houses either side of the house you just leased and the 10 houses across the road. And we're taught that this is the way you build a brand and build a business. However, I'm here to tell you that I don't reckon you should be letterboxing unless you use this exact formula. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Ellen from Rent Roll Starter, and today I want to talk to you about that old chestnut, the letterbox drop. Now, when I first started my rent roll, I was doing exactly what every other agency was doing, and that means letterboxing 5-5-10s of recently listed, recently leased properties. But when I first started my rent roll, I didn't have any recently leased or recently listed properties. I didn't have anything. And I thought I'll just do your typical, you know, get a free market appraisal letterboxing. And let me tell you, that really doesn't work. And I mean, I know that for some people that hardcore brand driving does work, but it's a really long-term strategy. And when you're wanting to grow your rent roll at a reasonable pace, long-term strategies don't give you short-term results. So if you're going to be letterbox dropping, I want to step you through a formula that I used in my business that actually helped me get my very first 2 listings. So this is how it worked, and it works especially well in a slow sales market. So I had that kind of advantage that I was a brand new property management company in a fairly slow sales market. So that's partly why it worked so well, but it would work in a warmer sales market as well. You just have to be careful about who you target. So this is how it works. You need to research the expired sales listings in your patch. So look for houses, apartments that have been on the market for in excess of sort of 80 to 90 days, haven't sold. Because you know then you're dealing with a landlord or a vendor who is frustrated and probably in a bit of financial stress, and they're wanting to offload their property in a hurry and get out of that stress because they've either bought somewhere else or they've moved somewhere else or they're wanting to move somewhere else, and it's a fairly stressful time for these people. So you want to look to solve that problem for them. So I looked for expired sales listings that I knew I could rent in 7 to 14 days. So you need to make sure that you only approach properties that you know you can rent quickly, because we're looking to provide these vendors with an alternate solution that takes the stress off them. So if you look at a 7-bedroom mansion and it's been on the market for 90 days, but you don't think you can lease it in 7 to 14 days, then this might not be the right strategy for that property. But if it's just a simple 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1 garage that you know you would be able to rent quickly if it's priced correctly, this is the ideal property to target. So once you've found this particular property, write them a handwritten note. Handwritten is key. People read a handwritten note, don't make it a fancy glossy brochure. Send it as a handwritten note. So just on a with comp slip or a pretty little card, and just write something like, "Hi there, I've noticed that your property's been on the market for sale for a while. Have you ever considered renting it out for a year or 2 until the sales market changes and then putting it back on the market for sale? If that's something that interests you, here's how to contact me and I can talk you through that process." So something like that, short, sweet, something short enough that you can fit on a with comp slip or a pretty little card, and then pop it in a blank white envelope, no branding. You're not going to address it to anyone because you don't know who the homeowner actually is, and chances are even if you do, you're not allowed to market directly to them, but you do know that the property's on the market because it's advertised on realestate.com.au and domain.com.au, so that's quite public knowledge. So you're not going to address it, it's going to be a completely blank envelope, and you're just going to seal it and pop it in their letterbox. Now, can you imagine if you got home, you checked your mail, and there was a blank white envelope in there? Do you think that might be the first thing you open that day? Of course it would be. So having the blank white envelope is actually a very clear strategy for getting the envelope opened, and a handwritten note is your best strategy for getting the contents of the document actually read. So all we're doing is trying to improve the chances of having it opened and read. And then of course, if the vendor is in a position where they would consider renting it out, then you've popped that sort of an idea in their head, and you might be the person they call. So for me, this is the way I actually got the first 2 rental properties I ever listed in my rent roll, and it was a really effective way of letterboxing if you're going to letterbox. So I really stopped doing the 5-5-10s for a while, and I really concentrated on approaching people directly who I could actually help solve a problem for. And that's what you're doing. You're helping a vendor who's in a little bit of stress to take a bit of financial pressure off until the market turns, so that they can get the price that they're actually looking for. Because that's often what it comes down to, isn't it? That the salesperson's saying you need to reduce your price and the vendor's saying I don't want to. So if you're able to give them a bit of time while the market picks back up again, then they might actually be able to achieve that dream price a little bit later on. So that's the strategy that I use. Find expired sales listings, write them a handwritten note, and put it in a blank envelope in their letterbox. And in terms of converting people, and in terms of comparing that style of letterboxing to every other style of letterboxing, it's a much higher converting strategy. So if you're going to letterbox, try that one out. Having said that, if you are looking to grow your rent roll quickly, then you know probably that I'm a big fan of referral marketing in terms of growing a rent roll fast. So if you're looking at referral marketing, please make sure you download my blueprint, which is my 1-page referral marketing blueprint. You can just go to rentrollstarter.com.au/referral and download that blueprint, because that's by far the fastest way to grow a rent roll. I'm Ellen, I'm from Rent Roll Starter, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.